I rewatched Dario Argento's 1977 film Suspiria. The film follows Susie, an American dancer newly recruited to a German ballet company, and learns of an underground society of witches running their academy. This film is stunning to look at. If you're not mesmerized by the beautiful neon lighting that takes place during darker sequences in the film, then the elaborate and breathtaking locations will have your eyes popping with color. I know that one of my favorite locations in this film is the hotel in the first 15 minutes. There's something almost Lynchian about it. It's beautiful to look at, but also overstimulating and kind of frightening. Now, the practical effects for its time are really well done, and even after a third watch, some scenes send a shiver down my spine just because of how well done some of the prosthetic skin looks. My main complaint with the effects are directed towards the bad-looking blood, which looks like really thick paint. This could be an artistic choice so that the color pops more, maybe a choice to bring out the nightmarish dreamlike fakeness to the scenario, or a limitation for the time. But either way, it didn't look good to me. With all that being said, I thought this movie was alright. Besides it sticking out for being a really good looking film, there's nothing special about it past that. My main complaint is that the story falls really flat. It's almost non-existent. The story is set up through a voiceover at the beginning credits and a large exposition dump right around the end point. It almost doesn't help that going into this, I know the reveal, but honestly, if the film relies on that, there needs to be some tweaks. I would have also loved to see more scenes where the witches commit the murders or do any kind of sacrifice, or at least where the murders are implied it was them. But instead it was all a tall guy off screen. I understand that this is a trope for some slashers, I mean the black glove murder mystery, but the mystery in here isn't really focused on or played out well. It's just kind of, the murders are there just to look good. But going back to what I said about the witch murders, the closest thing to a witch murder would be the service dog murdering its owner, which was probably the most effective murder scene, and it wasn't even the flashiest. And yes, there can be an argument made that Sarah's death was influenced by the witches. I mean, why else would she jump into an obviously large spool of wire? But even if that is true, there are so many things missing from that death that really make it feel like Sarah's just dumb. If you watch the film, dark locations are lit by bright blue, red, or greens. This is set up as a rule in the film. But if you pay attention to how this shot is lit, it is implied that this room has enough light. It was just a disappointing scene in my opinion. I watched this film for the concept of witches owning a ballet academy and only received a much dated yet beautifully shot 70s slasher film where the concept that drew me in was just that in the film. A concept. I watched this film 3 times, mainly to really compare it to the 2018 version, which gives me everything I want that this film didn't provide. Saying that is kind of unfair though, considering they are drastically different films, with the 2018 one being the best respectfully. My last comment is that the film's main theme, produced by Goblin, is really catchy and thrilling. It hits the right beats, it's loud, mysterious and frightful, with the whispers mixed in, but it is so overplayed in this film. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be uncomfortable and therefore expand on the confusing nature of the story, but to me it seemed more like Suspiria falls into the same issue a lot of old slashers have, which is that all suspenseful or death scenes play the exact same loud song that goes on for way too long. On my first viewing, I was jamming out to the theme, but by the end, I was wishing it played less. I'll most likely only ever watch this again if I can get my hands on a 4K version. Even then, I'll probably just skip to the scenes I want to see and never touch it again. With all that being said, I do want to say that I am interested in Dario Argento's other projects post-Suspiria, but with all that, I am giving this film a 2.5 out of 5. Thank you for sticking through this video and my rant, and I highly recommend you go watch this film, make your own opinions, and if you'd want, come back and tell me that I'm wrong.